What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Ship Across the Border. My name is Max. I'm here with Chris, and today we have on our previous Madai teammate, my current teammate at Elms.
Round two.
This is our first reoccurring guest on the podcast.
Is that true?
I think we had Alex on, but we don't think we released that episode.
Oh, yeah, that's fucked up.
So I think this is our first recurring guest in the episode. Ian, what up?
What's going on?
Welcome to the show again. Ian's been itching to come on every single fucking
He's
time.
been asking every single day for the last 4 weeks. When am I going to be on the podcast? When am I going to be on the podcast?
To be fair, though, every time he comes on the podcast or TikToks or that YouTube video does very, very well. So the audience seems to love him. So we give you guys what you're asking for. Here's AG, 1 of 1 of 02.
No, I'm not a 1 of 1 guy. It's just AG of 02, Ian of 02.
It's like croutons in a soup.
Don't turn down any opportunity, whether it's a camp, a clinic, because you never know literally who's watching.
Make your own decision and stick with them and know they're the right decisions, right? And even if they aren't right, don't regret them.
He didn't know creatine existed. So he got into some creatine, he's like, oh yeah, lift heavyweight.
Ship across the border. Ship across the border.
Shipped across the border, man.
Welcome back to Shipped Across the Border. Wait, so would you ever get a tattoo that says AG of 02 on the back of your calves?
That's like JV18 on his chest. That's some jovial shit.
Is it on his chest? among other things.
We won't talk about that on the podcast.
Okay, so I want to start off with a conversation that we had in the room.
Okay.
Probably about 2 weeks ago, where you were talking about if you were a coach, you would go to parks. If you were a JUCO coach, you would go to parks to pick up basketball players.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
The talent out there is crazy, honestly. Like, the talent out there is like, there's so much potential, bro.
Out there meaning parks?
Bro, I think a lot of people suck. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I mean, well, like I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've ran into guys. Like, it's not like I'm going to like a Dykeman or a Record Park. Like, of course not. But because those are like hotbeds of basketball. But like the places I've played in Fort Worth and Dallas have like had amazing ball players. Now the ratio to like what we call bad ball players to good ball players is definitely like maybe 5 to 1, like for sure. Like I'll go to Trinity Park and there's been days where it's like, weeks where it's been like, bro, I haven't found anyone that's like near my competition or near my skill level. And I would have been like 16, 17 years old.
Surely some of those 5 must be like guys who are athletic as fuck and can move, but
bro.
they couldn't play on a college basketball court because they wouldn't get it.
I've ran into guys that like smell like weed, but when I throw it, like just throw and catch. Like I can throw the ball anywhere in the general vicinity of the basket, and they're good at catching.
I feel like that's usually how it goes if you're spending most of your time playing basketball at the park.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would go there.
But is that the type of person that you'd have in a system? A guy who smells like weed and can't process simple directions, but can dunk everything? Like, is that really
in a system? Then like no, but I'm saying like that talent bed, of course. And like there is guys that are there that are hungry and are really smart as far as like their basketball IQ. Like they're geniuses. Like I've seen so many unique things.
You've seen some basketball geniuses at the park in Fort Worth or Dallas?
Yes.
That don't play basketball anyway?
Just didn't get the opportunity. Like, real deal. Like, didn't get the opportunity, didn't have the grades.
Didn't have the money.
Didn't have the money. Because, like, it's hard to get, like, not everybody from Dallas or Fort Worth is getting a full ride at TCU or SMU, UTA, UNT, whatever D1 schools that there are in the DFW area. And a lot of guys, like, have this stigma about taking out student loans and everything like that. So if they can't do it where they're covered for their full 4 years, they're just not going to do it at all. So
that definitely makes sense.
I mean, I've seen guys that are like different.
No, I understand what you're saying by that, but I just think it's hard to pick up some like that. In that sense, I understand. But I think if you're going just recruiting out of a park, like obviously it's a metaphor. It's not like
it's not like I'm not going to go get my star point guard at Tanglewood Middle School. Like I'm not, and that's where we used to run all the time. I'm not gonna go get my starting PG1 from Tanglewood.
But what I'm more referring to is like, so we just finished up with the tryouts, and a lot of there was 40 people that tried out for 18 spots, and I like undoubtedly there was a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, a lot of just natural ability in that gym.
Yeah.
But not all. But the most naturally athletic people, the most naturally talented people, did not like.
Make the
weren't
team.
like,
Yeah.
like I'm not saying that
Some of.
like some of I'm saying the team, the 18 spots is not filled up with the most athletic people, the most naturally gifted people.
Yeah.
The team is filled up with people who fit roles, people who can understand concepts and execute concepts, and
Yeah.
people who add specific things
This also
to the
isn't a
table.
JUCO though.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I guess.
So like, here's what if I was an NCAA coach, then no, definitely not. I would just spend my.
I
just
missed
spend
that
my
part where you were
time-
talking about JUCO. I thought you were talking about college basketball. in
I would
general.
just spend my time.
That makes sense.
Going to local like grassroots programs and just getting like, okay, this kid has played organized basketball for the same program since he was 8 years old. Now he's 18. He wants to play college ball. Okay, cool. I'll take him. But if I'm like, to me, JUCO's fun. So if I'm playing JUCO and I'm coaching JUCO, oh, bro, we're just gonna run and jump. That's all we're gonna do. Get the ball off the rim on the fast break, and there's going to be 2 6'6" on the wings with 40-inch verticals. Throw it, and whoever gets it dunks it.
I understand what you mean.
Fun
by
as
yeah.
fuck.
Like,
I
it's
get what-
just
I get what
fun.
you
Like,
mean.
let's just have fun.
But isn't the whole point of JUCO like you go there as a intermediate
to-
thing in order to get to a 4-year
It's
school?
like it's
So
kind
you
of
go-
like jail. It's like you're going there because like JUCO guys I've played with, like they went there because they had a weed charge. They went there because their grades are terrible. So you're going there for sure for discipline.
yeah.
I agree.
So you're
100%.
banking on that you get because if the whole point of JUCO is like not to discredit anybody that plays JUCO or JUCO in general, because there's definitely high
Right.
quality basketball played there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying JUCO seems from me. I played Division III basketball. I don't know much about the JUCO scene, but what I understand from the people I've talked to is JUCO is kind of like a intermediate step between high school and 4-year basketball.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And so if the goal of JUCO is to get to a 4-year program or potentially get a scholarship, or if not, go to a 4-year place and get a degree, then you're by taking a 6'6" guy with 40-inch vertical who smells like weed and can't understand. If you put up your fist, he's not going to come and set you a ball screen. He doesn't really
Right.
know basic concepts. And what you're saying is you're banking that in those 2
So-
years you can teach people the necessary things to have them to take that natural skill and ability and athleticism and translate it to a 4-year place.
Bro, it works. Like I'm telling you, like
That's what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. So if I
That
was a
makes sense.
JUCO coach, like and this is what my JUCO coach did at Fort Scott, like, dog, you don't know basic concepts. I'm gonna literally drill this in your head until you do. And if you
Did it work?
Bro, I mean, it was hell, but it worked. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like the summer I came back home.
Watch this test. What do you do if the ball gets entered to the post and you're on the opposite side?
Cut.
And did Hack not drill that shit into your fucking head?
I had to think for a second, but yeah, he definitely did.
And you haven't played basketball in literally like
Organized basketball.
10
over-
months.
Over 10 months.
And I just had one simple thing to you, and that was drilled into our head every single day at practice. If you didn't do that shit, you're running. and you just brought that shit off the top
Are
of
we
your
running
head.
Wildcat or are we running what we ran at the end of the year? 'Cause
I'm just
if
saying
it hits
ball-
the post.
I'm just saying
and
balls
we're
to
running
the post.
Wildcat, then you're supposed to screen down for the other side, flare out, and then.
And you see how you remember that shit?
Yeah.
See, you
no, I
remember
mean
that
that's
shit?
real. Like if I'm like now, like if the ball's on the other side and a guy comes and sets me a screen, I'm curling off it. If a corner man comes and sets me a screen and I'm on the wing, I'm flaring off it. And that guy that just set me the screen from the corner is cutting down. Like it's just simple things. And like I couldn't remember what happened at Fort Scott because that was 3 years ago. But I'm not like I left Fort Scott when I was 19 years old, and just going to LA Fitness, like the game was just so slow. Like
Going
and
back to like regular basketball,
100%.
after
it's
college basketball
super
is-
slow.
100%.
Like I would go out there and like I mean my granddad would come and watch me sometimes. And like I would go out there and see a cut on like as soon as I catch the rebound, I would see who's about to cut and throw it 10 feet ahead before they even got to the spot, and he wouldn't get there. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh, that's a terrible pass. And my granddad would and before I even yelled, like before I even heard of the phrase, he would just be like, bro, know your personnel. Like these guys all work
KYP.
they all work at
Coach, how you say that,
UPS.
right?
I don't know where I got that from, but I've been saying that.
I didn't hear it until I was 19 years old, and my granddad would be like, bro, they have 9 to 5s. You play college basketball. That's all you do is basketball. So you're seeing things that they've never even seen before.
Also,
And-
but my fault.
No, I mean, that was it. Like, it was just like a crazy transition. And throughout college, like learning certain philosophies, learning like all these different play styles, and especially switching regions from Midwest to up north to East
I was
Coast.
gonna say that. That's one of the reasons why it kind of sucks to get a transfer, because for the last year or 2 years, he's been drilled with the same type of mentality and the same like game styles and shit, and now he has to adjust to possibly a completely different style of basketball. So it's not gonna
Right
be
now,
like a.
the type of I'm obviously not gonna talk about like what type of defense we run, on the podcast for other people to hear. But like what we're doing right now is kind of different than what we did last year.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's definitely like taking an adjustment period, change your feet and stuff like that. But what I was gonna say before is the more that I think about what you said, like realistically, an incoming freshman, no matter where they go, no matter if it's a 6'6", 40-inch vertical guy who has a charge and doesn't understand basic concepts and has a 0.75 GPA, or a Max Rolnick who comes in with a 4.1 GPA out of high school, none of them are gonna understand any college basketball concept right away.
Except like the anomalies like
exactly,
Mac.
Exactly.
Like
But the
Mac-
chances that a
Mac's a
freshman
different
comes
type
in
of
and
kid.
understands college basketball concepts and is able to execute that is so low. So realistically, like anybody who comes in is gonna need development period of time, and obviously that ranges from person to person.
Yeah.
But if you're better off developing a 6'6", 40-inch vertical person than
I mean, and
6'1".
it's also tough because, bro, it's not just the concepts. Like, we can say forget the concepts, right? The physicality and the speed of the game is so different from high school. So like,
different.
in high school, like, I was called, by my peers, like, a man amongst boys. Like, I was just because I had older brothers and I was, like, getting beat up around the house and, like, nothing crazy. But, like, I just, like, got stronger with time, right? But, like, going against other kids, like, I would body them and, like, I was just, like, used to physicality. Like, I liked it. And then when I got to college, I hated it. Like, being put on the ground so many times by some, like, bro, I'll never forget this. My roommate at my second school, we went to Fort Scott together, and I'll never forget this. I ran into a screen to him, and I thought I broke my jaw. Swear to God.
Some day on Warren shit.
Like, he set the screen, no one called it out, and I'm guarding 94 feet. Get hit with the screen, bro. I thought I broke my jaw, and I fell on the ground, and I don't remember how I went for the next 10 seconds.
And you say you got up to and your coach was like, get back in the play or some shit?
That was another play where I thought I broke my nose. But yeah, dog. So like that physicality and like that, like aside from concepts, because if you like lock yourself and like if you lock in and lock yourself in your room and just be like, bro, I'm gonna study this playbook for at least 3 hours a night, you'll get it by like the time.
Yeah, but just because you get it doesn't mean you can execute it, dude. I
mean-
knew and I could draw up every single play on that whiteboard, but the second the ball is checked up, it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, but
Just
that
getting used to that.
again, and like
you know what I mean?
not like, you know, because I struggle with that too. But then there was other guys who would do like would lock in and like go through diagrams and get pieces of like get chess pieces and go through them and whatever, and they would go out and execute it perfectly. And we're the same age, so like I struggle with the anxiety of like, what if I mess it up?
For sure.
Like, so that's what would happen. I would be able to draw them all up and go through them, but like when I stepped on that court, it would just be like, oh, everyone's looking at me. Like I'm one of the only people on this court. It's me and 4 other people.
That takes some getting used to as well.
It's super hard.
And there's guys on the other spectrum. Like if you ask Dante Wilcott to draw up a play, he could maybe do it. But if you threw him on the court and tell him like to just run it, odds are he can do that 100% of the time. And he's gonna be better at that than drawing it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's more like I'm a guy that likes to go through the action. So like if you show me if you give me like 10 reps at every position, then I'll know every position. But like drawing it up is just like me. Like I'm just at this point when I'm drawing it up, it's like I'll do it, but it's just for the fact of, all right, let's get this over with. Like I'm good.
I feel like that's just a muscle though. Like last year, dude, I didn't really understand all the plays until like at the end of like
Fact, dude.
Like,
End
but
of the year.
this year we don't have a ton of complex plays, but we have a bunch of actions. And like one time, like I missed that practice because I was sick. I missed that practice, and I went to coach's office, and he explained to me kind of what we ran, and it was that flare screen thing. And
Yeah.
I didn't even need to do it. He drew it up for me, and I could visualize in my head what it was, and I went and I was able to execute it perfectly. And like now, like I understand and the same thing with the new one with the pin down thing we put in. I think when you guys put that in, that was when I had the calf strain, so I didn't practice that practice, and I just I just understood just by watching it. So it's definitely a muscle that like you develop, and it gets better over time. But as a freshman, it's so hard to.
Yeah, no, I didn't get.
There's so much going
I
on.
couldn't run. I could barely run the right side of the floor, which we ran most of our sets from until probably early January, and then he threw in that flip shit, bro. If you asked me to run some of those things flip to this day, I probably still couldn't do it. Flip through my entire fucking world upside down, bro.
We ran everything to the left where I was at, just because running it to the left gets you to your right hand. So we had most people
Right there, automatically, you have just two completely different fucking philosophies.
Yeah,
and
two
that just
different.
fucks
So
with you.
like every ball screen I would have, like at Fond du Lac, every ball screen I would get would be going. Like he would ask me, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get to the cup or do you want to shoot it? So I would say, okay, I want to get to the cup. Let's work from the inside out. And he would say, okay, cool. We're gonna set it on the left side of the court so you can get downhill to your right hand. And then if I wanted to shoot it, I'm better shooting off my left hand to my right. So okay, we're gonna set it on the right side, so you're coming downhill with your left, and you can pull up. If certain coaches would say, okay, we're gonna set it on your left side, so maybe you can cross it over and make a play off of 2 feet or whatever. And it's like, at that age, I'm at 18, 19, I'm like, bro, I already suck with my left hand. Like, my left hand just got decent. And like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's completely different philosophies, bro. Some coaches run their stuff out the mid post, and that's it, and just have 4 guards on the outside run their own actions. Some coaches have a 5 out, 1 in, have a 3-2, have a 2-3. Like, it's all different, bro. We can 1-4 flat. We can do this forever. Like, it's a bunch of different philosophies, bro.
Yeah,
it's
so
a bunch of
sidestepping off of this, you've been to 5, 6 schools now?
This is 5th.
This is 5th?
5 schools in 4
4
years.
So you've seen a lot of fucking basketball.
I've seen a lot of basketball.
So you went from a lot of different play styles, and I'm wondering, how did you kind of deal with going from like the JUCO scene, like the different coaching styles? How did you adapt to that?
So my first coach, Ford Scott, who shall remain nameless, he was really tough, right? Like, he was really tough. And like, I would talk to my parents every day, multiple times a day, before practice, after practice. Sometimes I would sneak away in the locker room and text them during practice, like, Ma, I can't do this. Dad, what's going on? And that was as worse as it could get. And I think, like, he broke me down to make me stronger, right? So he broke me down mentally, for sure. Like, killed me. Like, it was a point in time where I hated basketball. At this point, I'm just doing
I was just talking to one of my boys, Alex, about this, because he plays for a Canadian university, and they just played like a team who last year in the preseason beat UNLV.
Right. So
like, they're super elite. And I don't know if they made it to like nationals last year. I don't know what went on, but they're a really, really, really good program. Like low D1 program.
Yeah.
And they lost by 40, and he didn't get in because they shortened the rotation. He was playing about 8 to 12 minutes a game as a freshman. Yeah. And then because some guys were hurt, and he had some pretty good some decent games, and then the other guys kind of came back, and so he kind of fell out of the rotation. And he's like, dude, I like this basketball shit. Like, why the fuck do I even do this? Like, I hate this sucks. I'm like, bro, I was explaining to him, like, it's like 90% hell. And it's like 10% reward, but that 10% reward makes up for the 90% hell tenfold. Yeah. And that, like, you do it for those,
that's quotation marks, for some people.
Yeah, for some people. But he's one of them, and you're one of them as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, bro, I was literally just in practice, like, bro, I can't leave, because if I leave, I drop out. And, like, it was totally
no, bro, I know what you mean.
related.
I was thinking about that shit, too. It's like I really, a few days ago, I was just feeling like just sore, tired. I was pissed off with something. I'm like, I really just don't feel like practicing today. I really don't feel like that. But I was telling myself, like, I have to go today so that I can go when I want. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You have to push through the days where you don't want to go so that you can go on the days that you do.
No,
you know
that's
what I mean?
I agree. Like, those.
Because if you quit, you drop out. Then even if on the days you want to go, you can't.
I can't go. And, like, it wasn't even like if I drop out, because if I drop out, I can find another school, which obviously I've done it 4 times. But, like, at this point, it was just like, bro, I have scholarship money on the line. Like, there's people that would, like, literally die and kill to be in my position.
It's like, think about the trial process we just went through. Of 20 dudes just got cut out of the people. So, like, now I don't want to go to practice. And now, like, what type of, like, my parents just are paying money for me to be here, have supported me through this whole process. I just worked my ass off in tryouts, dealt with all that uncertainty. Now I made the team, and I'm not going to let one day of me not feeling like it take away from not only what I've been blessed with and lucky enough to be a part of, but, like, take away all the rest of it. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Like, it was tough, and then I just had to start thinking about, like, why I do it, who am I doing it for?
Sure.
It's JUCO, so at max I only have to deal with this guy for another year, and fortunately I didn't have to deal with him for another year. Like, I mean, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. Like, no bad blood, but, like,
kind of bad blood.
It was a little bad blood.
2 nights ago, it's different.
a little bad blood. I might have cut that out. But yeah, like, I mean, you know, it was tough. So, like, when I left him, I just started thinking, like, when I was back home working at Mod and, like, not knowing what to do, I was like, bro, if I go to another school, when I go to another school, it can't get any worse. The worst it can get is a coach puts his hands on me, and I, like, if that happens, then that's NCAA's hands. Like, that's out of my hands. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to Fond du Lac in Minnesota, the coach was really laid back. So laid back it was weird. And I was like, okay, like
I kind of dealt with the opposite of that. In my high school coach, amazing with X's and O's, really smart guy, really like cared about all the players, but was very, very laid back. And going from that to Coach Hack, just ripping me a new asshole every day was a massive adjustment.
No,
and now we're kind of back. Coach Southall's a lot more laid back than Coach. I want to say laid back is not the right word, but less like verbally intense, singling people out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean, yeah, he's like Coach Southall definitely lets you have it, but like he's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not as bad. Like, and I love Coach Hack, great guy, but like
some people
everybody always prefaces it because they're still scared. They're on a podcast. We're 800 kilometers away. He's like, yeah, he did this, but still love you though.
I don't
everybody deals with everybody deals with like just communicates differently, right?
Yeah.
And some styles work better, like or match with other people better.
Yeah, like I thought Coach Hack was like the perfect coach for me
I think
because
so
like
too, bro. We've been saying that for a while,
bro. Like it's cool, like because like Coach Hack kind of reminds me of like how my parents parent a little bit. Yeah. So like my mom or my dad would like chew me out because I'm getting bad grades or I'm not doing something to like I'm not fulfilling my potential, right? And that's what will piss them off the most. Like me getting an F in English class, but like I write. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like obviously laziness. So Coach Hack will like rip you a new one, and then you go in his office the next day and you're like, hey, what's up, coach? Yeah. And y'all are cool. You know what I'm saying? So like that was the perfect type of coach for me. The coach in Minnesota was cool. Like I could talk to him, but like he really never let me know what I was doing bad. The coach in Greenville was like way too nice. And he's cool as well, but like
just different styles.
Not my type of coach. You know what I'm saying? And like couldn't play for him just because as a player, as a man, when I felt like he should have said something, he didn't say it. Or like his philosophies just as like a competitor were way different than mine. Our values were way different.
What were his?
Like we're not playing like we're playing for personal value. We're not playing to win. Well, if we're not playing to win, then why is there a score? Yeah. Like that just makes no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And like I understand sometimes games are fun. They're like even when you're losing, it's fun. Like tic-tac-toe.
Coach Hack might disagree. But
like no, I'm saying
but
like
at the end of the day, you're at the highest level.
Yeah,
right?
we're at the NCAA level. I'm saying games like tic-tac-toe, 2K.
Dude, I get pissed if I lose in 2K or tic-tac-toe.
No, but it's like it's a good battle. And
it's a good battle,
appreciate it.
and it doesn't like you're not going to go into a job interview and they're going to be like, oh, you lost that game in 2K in your dorm room that one day. It doesn't matter, right? Games that matter that are documented. Oh no, I'm playing to win. I don't care. Like of course I care about personal growth, but I don't need to notice it the next day. Like when I'm 30 years old and I'm going through some adversity or whatever, then that's when I'll go back to, oh yeah, when I was 21 years old and we were knocking on the door of the Empire 8 tournament and we had to, oh yeah, nice shirt. We were knocking on the door of the Empire 8 tournament. We all had to pull together. And yes, we lost that game, but we all had
We made the tournament.
No, I'm saying we
won that game versus Tuco. We did.
No, I'm saying when we played Alfred. Yeah, we lost that game.
Did not win that game.
But we all had the mentality going into next season. Oh, it's gonna be way different. We're all working. We're all trying to hit the ground running and make it happen. Now, unfortunately, obviously, it didn't. But yeah, life happens, bro. Life happens.
So back to the old school thing. I kind of want to get at like. So you said like you were in those practices and you're getting beat up, you're getting screamed at and all that stuff. What are the things that you like pull on? Like I know you said like the people back home, whatever, but is there other strings that you pull on to get yourself through that kind of shit? Like you're
like, what do you mean?
Like mental things. Like
talk about the pillar.
Like when I'm in the gym, this is what I'm gonna say. Is like when I'm in the gym and I really don't want to be there. It's the 6th day in a row of my split, and next day's an off day, and I'm like, I could just get up today, and I really wouldn't have to do this. No one's gonna know. No one's looking at me, whatever. But then the thing that I pull on is when I'm 75 and I wake up and my knees are aching and I have no energy and I can't do any of this shit. I'm gonna wish that I could go back and be 20 again, just get up and have energy and not have my joints hurt and all this shit. Yeah. And that's the thing that I pull on to make me go back and gym. Like, okay, for 75-year-old me, for that sake, at least today I'm gonna get up.
Yeah, no, I mean for sure. Like I looked at certain things. So like my parents, so like my mom, my dad, and my granddad for sure. Like they talk about really my mom and dad because like how much they sacrificed for me. So like I would have days, especially like when my mom was divorced and before she got my stepdad, which I'm very grateful for him too. But like when she was a single mom, seeing her struggle and having to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, go to Dallas, still making me breakfast before I go to school, and like when she's waking up, her going to Dallas, me not seeing her the whole day, her coming home at night, making me dinner, still buying me shoes for basketball, still buying me shoes for school, nice clothes, whatever, and then my dad doing the same thing, him having to take a train or take a bus for 4 hours just to watch 32 minutes of his son sitting on the bench of a 8th grade B team, and like all this stuff. So it's like, yeah, like they sacrificed all this stuff that they didn't have to do. They could have just did the bare minimum, and I might have still been here, but they went above and beyond and did all this stuff, and now I'm here. And then with like my grandfather, him being, I think, 78, 79 years old, he has such a unique life, and how he talks about his stories, it's like, I can't give up, because if I give up, I won't have any unique, cool stories to tell anybody, and I'll just be, oh yeah, that's that old man that lives up the street, instead of like, yeah, that's that old guy who has
the guys when balls get in his backyard.
yeah, instead of that's that old guy who wears he came in one day with an Empire 8 shirt from 2022, and it's like
We're in 2094.
and we're in 20 whatever, and like he just sits at the park with his old Jayhawk championship jersey on, and we're like, oh, what's the story behind that? And he tells me all these stories. Like, I'd rather be that guy with the unique stories, the unique life, and I'll just looking at the people in my life, like, I'm cool with that. I'll go through hell for it. That's fine, because I know at the end of the day, like, it'll be all worth it by the stories I tell my kids, my grandkids, that they tell their great grandkids when I'm dead and gone. Like, it's all worth it at the end of the day. So that's what I would always think when I'm in practice, like, getting yelled at, I'd be like, man, forget going pro. Like, that's the goal, but the bare minimum is I will have really cool, unique stories to tell my people in my life. So
I agree with that. I think that like what works, the experience of being a student athlete, like representing, being one of the 16, 18 people that represent your institution on the court, is a kind of a unique experience, and the things you go through is very, very, very unique. And I think that that's a reason enough alone to push through a day where you don't feel like it, so you can continue to, because like any day that you decide, like you could be done any day. Yeah. Like you could be, like any day you could be done. Yeah. The reason why you push through those days where that's in the back of your mind is so you can continue to experience that unique life, like
3%, bro.
That experience that like so many people wish they had. Like that's another one of the pillars for me is like let's just say I wake up and I don't feel like getting extra shots, I don't feel like lifting, I don't feel like going to practice, then like how many people there's literally 20, like there's literally people in the gym right now who tried out for the team, didn't make it, and are actively still in the gym, passing to us in shooting lines and like helping in any way they possibly can just to stay and be involved in a part of the program. And so that, like I can't take that for the opportunity that I have for granted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. I mean, there's like I hear it from my friends who don't even play basketball. Like my friend Daniel and my friend Eric and my friend Chris. Like I'll talk to them and they'll be like, "Where you at right now?" And I'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm in New York." They'll be like, "Why are you in New York?" And I'll be like, "Bro, basketball." And they'll be like, "I wish I was there." Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're just in Texas. And it's like they're doing fine, but like the fact that they don't even play ball and like see the opportunities that I have, and they want those opportunities. Like I can just imagine the people that play ball, the people that might be better than me, the people that might work harder than me, that just didn't get, like, I just slipped through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So like I had a coach that just knew a JUCO coach. It's not even like a JUCO coach came to my game. It was just like off word of mouth, off him trusting this coach. So if I didn't, I might be working at Amazon right now. Thank God I'm not. But like now that I'm not and I'm here, like yeah, I might as well just take advantage of it. Like
what we're doing is not like ordinary.
Yeah, it's like, not.
It's like what, like 3, 5, 7% of people.
D1, D2, D3.
NAIA,
JUCO,
GAA, whatever.
Bro, all of these like bodies of college basketball, it's like 7. It still amounts to maybe 3%.
Yeah.
Of like the actual human population, or just high school hoopers?
Of
high
school
who want
hoopers.
to do it. Of people who want
of people who want to do it.
Of human beings, it's like 0.001.
Yeah,
but
small
of people that would want to be in that position, only like 3 to 7% of people actually get those spots. You know,
like I went to a tryout, Arlington Baptist, and
is that a division?
No, it's a NCCAA. So National Christian College Athletic Association.
Okay.
So it's like a level below NAIA, really small school, Christian school, whatever. So I went to a tryout there, right? And like it's maybe like 25 heads, 30 heads, and I'm like killing. And I'm the only person he came up to. And it's like, and I paid $20 to get in. And it wasn't even my money. Like my mom gave me the money and was like, yeah, have at it. So went there, killed, and I peeped. I was the only person he talked to. And he has people that are 6'8" there. Quick guards, 5'8", 5'9", and that can like get to it. Just for some reason, he pulls me aside. Hey, what's your story? Tell him about everything that happened at Madai. Tell him about my past, whatever.
Oh, this was like this summer.
Bro, this is this summer.
Okay.
And I tell him about everything, and he's like, yeah, we want you here. We think you can, like, and he points to his banners, and he was like, we think you can bring another one of those here. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But, like, yeah, bro, for me to be the only person he came to talk to out of all these kids, probably with a deeper story and whatever, they might have not been better than me, but they wanted it more than me. Yeah. I still have the opportunity to be in this situation, to be in this, like, I think it's a very elite club that we're in of college basketball players. Now, are there some college basketball players that are better than us? Yes, of course. Are there some that are worse than us? Yes, of course. That's just how it is. But it's an elite club regardless. Like, we all have the eye, which might not be as good as some other players, but, like, when we step in a gym, we know, yes, he's a college basketball player.
Like, take that shit away from you.
That's something.
Matt, we're actually so glad you said that. Once you've played college basketball and you've seen what it looks like, it never, like, you can't get rid of that.
Like, no one can take away from you that you spent a year in a college basketball system. Like, no one can take that shit away from you. Like, that's like not like a trophy or like a medal, but like a metaphorical, like, stamp of, like, you achieved this level. And no one can, like, no matter what, no one can take that shit away from you.
And, like, where I work with my friends, like, we'll see a kid do something. Like, let's say he jump stops, reverse pivots.
At camp?
Yeah.
Shout out camp.
And he'll jump stop, reverse pivot, and make a corner kick. Yeah. And we'll all look and be like, yeah, he's a college player. Like,
bro, kids don't understand this. This is gonna lead
to my
other shit.
Ask that question.
I literally have.
Hold on, real quick. Public message. Make your kids jump stop again. All right. Teach your kids how to jump stop.
Bring back jump stops.
make 2 feet great again.
make jump stopping great again.
Ask that question.
The 3 things.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna be a coach at some point. You've already coached at One to Do.
Yeah.
Where else have you coached?
Just like around. Like I coached my AAU.
You continued coaching Buffalo last year?
Yeah, I coached for the Buffalo Titans. I coached my AAU team, like the younger kids, when I was like 17, 18 years old.
Actually, let me preface first by saying that there is so many physically gifted athletes, like we've seen, like we just witnessed, who won't necessarily get a spot on a college roster, even though they're 6 foot plus, 6'2", 6'3", can jump out the gym, physically strong.
Strong as fuck.
What's like, so then you ask, like, these people don't, but why don't these people get spots?
So yeah, you've coached before, and you're going to be a coach at some point. So I asked you this last night in the dorm room too. But what are 3 things you would look for when scouting a player?
Okay, so the ability to forget.
So unconsciousness, we talked about that before.
Yeah, so like if I throw like Max has played with me, you've played with me. If I throw a pass and it sails out of bounds, I don't care. Like whatever. Now, if I throw 5 of them, then it's like, okay, instead of throwing them with the right, let's start throwing them with the left, right? So the ability to forget, good shots. Like, again, Max saw me in practice. I had like 2 and 1s going right. And like, I don't, like, I'm not, and 1. Like, I don't care. Like,
good or bad. You can't get too high.
Can't get too high, can't get too
basketball
low.
Is so full of, it's an emotional roller coaster.
Exactly. So like, for you to get on that ride and play into it, bro, you're gonna have the worst season ever.
At the end of the day, the name of the game is consistency, right?
Exactly.
And there's nothing consistent about a basketball season, like in the sense of like emotions. Like there's highs, lows, wins, losses, makes, misses. Like there's so much variability. So if you follow along with that wavelength,
you'll just get lost.
Because you can't you can't stay consistent.
You mentally can't obtain it. Like you can't maintain it. Like you can't maintain the emotional stability to be able to go high and low.
Do you do anything to kind of ground yourself? We kind of talked about this on a previous episode. Like, what do you do to like kind of ground yourself? And you have bad practice. What do you do?
Good practice. I talk to my parents a lot. Honestly, like I talk to my parents a lot, and just I talk to my friends back home a lot. and just get back to feeling like, and not back home like in Texas, but just like friends I've met outside of basketball or friends I trust, like, you know, that I've met through basketball, but they know me for me. Then I just talk to them and just like they make me feel like I'm that kid back in Fort Worth. Like aside,
Pulls you out of like the I'm a college basketball player, I have to do this, I have to be.
Bro.
100%. That's a powerful thing.
Like
Thinking about like hanging out with my boys, because I've had the same boys since like elementary school, since like 8th grade, boys all throughout high school. Now I obviously went through, they're all at the same university or at varying universities at home. I obviously went through a different path, but that doesn't like hinder our friendship in any way.
Right.
Like we pick up what we talk all the time on the phone and like whatever. And we have group chats and stuff, and obviously it picks back up right when I get home. Shout out my boys from fucking from Toronto. But just thinking like, dude, like they don't give a fuck. Like realistically, like, oh, Max did well. Oh, it's awesome, right? But like they don't like me for I'm good at basketball. They don't like me because I can shoot.
It's spotlight
like,
syndrome.
100, bro. No, they don't give a fuck.
Most
at
people
all.
don't. Like,
and like I sometimes I've had and during the summer or whatever, I had a shit training session, and I come home and I go out with my guys at night and just go and hang out in someone's basement. We just chop it up, you know what I mean? And like it just like takes you out of that spot. Like they don't give a fuck at all.
Yeah, no.
Like only you care about that.
Bro, it's like the thing. I heard this quote on a podcast too, where it was like, this guy sent out a tweet about the Queen, and he said, "Until this tweet right now, you haven't thought about the Queen. She's going to accomplish more in her life than you ever will. And after 6 months after she died, no one remembers her. So
Dude, after 5
no one's
minutes.
going to remember you
Exactly.
anyway. So like,
Yeah.
who gives a
Like,
fuck?
it's certain things like I call my mom probably like 2-3 times a day, and I could come out of a really bad practice, like a terrible practice, and she gets like, you know, I mean, it's your mother, so like she'll see like you look like long look on your face, whatever, your emotion, like your voice and your tone has changed, and she'll be like, what's wrong? And I'll say, yeah, Ma, I just had a terrible practice, like it was really bad. And she'll be like, okay, how are your grades? Like anyway, like now I know the reason isn't life threatening or anything like that. Like, okay, you had a bad practice. You've been having bad practice since you were 7 years old. Yeah. Who cares? Now, like my dad is like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Once we figure out why, okay, cool. You watched the Yankees play last night? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. Well, whatever, and we'll talk about something else. Like, I mean, like I'll just talk to people that like care, but once they find out, it's like he'll get over it, and we go on to something else. I don't really talk to like the guys that know, like that only know me because of basketball, because then we dive too deep into it, and it's like
You start analyzing like every play.
like
you
yeah,
did
man.
reverse pivot here.
Instead of putting a pound dribble, I should have just crossed it over to the left. And
There's a time
I
and a
could've
place
laid it.
for self-evaluation and reflection, but
Yeah, I don't want
there's
to do
also-
it
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like.
because that kind of takes away from your ability to forget.
Yeah,
and move
like
forward.
Well,
when
also, you always tend, like, everyone tends to, like, amplify the negatives. So, like,
100%.
if you say, like, oh, yeah, I missed this, and then he'll start, and it just amplifies it even more if you talk to guys who know basketball.
yeah, like when I was like, when I was 19 and like playing ball in Minnesota, I was on basketball overload. Like I'm stuck in Minnesota in the middle of
I
nowhere.
want to get into that in a minute. Actually,
Like I'm stuck in Minnesota in the middle of nowhere. It's snow up to my window. I can't leave except if I'm going to the gym or if we're going to an away game. I'm on basketball overload. I'm just watching, analyzing. I don't care if I missed a free throw. How is my footing? Oh, this is the reason why. Like it's certain stuff I'm just looking at. So when I got away from that, life just became so much more peaceful. And I still love basketball more than anything in the world. But like when I got away from it and started realizing like there's more to life than that, life became so much more peaceful.
it gets so, and I'll talk about this with my friends, especially with my parents when I'm like going through a rough shooting slump or whatever. Like, and I'm like self-aware enough to know that basketball gets so amplified when you're at school, especially during the basketball season. Because like we're in Springfield, Massachusetts. I've been in Buffalo, New York, and I've been in Willoughby, Ohio. All those places, and I don't have a car.
Right.
The closest thing I had to a car was Chris having a car last year, or Mac having a car. Like
Rest in peace.
we live in the dorm. Not rest in peace, Chris' car, not Mac. Let me just preface that. Shout out Mac. But what do you call it? Like basketball gets so amplified because I wake up, I go hoop, and I go and I sit in my dorm and I lie in my bed and I think about how I just did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's not really much mobility, and all of my boys aren't like I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of great people in all the places I've been. But at the end of the day, those aren't my like you know what I mean? Like those aren't my they're my boys, but they're my boys from here. They're not my boys from home, my childhood boys. And that's different.
Yeah, it's way different.
My family, my cousins, my grandparents, my siblings, like they're all at home.
Yeah.
And I'm here, and I feel like you feel isolated on like an island. And
Yeah.
like you come here with the love of basketball, but the ball doesn't always go in the hoop.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a fact.
That's just how life goes.
That's
you know
just
what I mean?
life, bro. That's
And
just life.
It's like it's difficult when all you have, you came here for only basketball, and now basketball isn't really fucking with you at this moment. Now what? Now it's like now what? You know what I mean? It feels like your whole world's falling down because your whole world at this moment is basketball.
It's a perspective thing.
It's 100% perspective
It's
thing.
definitely.
There's a looping back. Your first one was unconsciousness. We just went
Okay.
on that fucking
So
massive
yeah,
ass
my
tangent.
bad.
No, that's good. But
Unconsciousness.
last night you said the ability to do it all.
The ability to do it all. So yeah, like I think we might be about to get. No, we're not about to get kicked out. The ability to do it all. So like in baseball, they call it a 5-tool player. Hit for power, hit for average, can run, can field, can throw. Right. So that's the.
Hello.
All right.
Okay. Do we do this in the room now?
What do we do?
We could do this in the room. We could just read.
I hope the mics caught that though. At least we can have an explanation as to why we had to change.
All right. Well,
We're moving to the room.
I guess we're moving to the room.
Okay, we go to the room.
Fuck it.
Okay, so basically, if you can tell, we got kicked out of the library, so we've moved the entire setup to the room. And this is probably going to be a second episode.
244, baby.
Is that what we are?
Yeah. Rose Williams 244.
What were we talking about?
242.
What were we talking about? We were talking about at one point, relative to the end, we were talking about how basketball gets like amplified when there's nothing else to do.
Oh, it was your three things, what you look for in
Yeah.
a player.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it was unconsciousness,
ability to do it all. So like I was on the 5-tool player thing.
Okay.
So yeah, in baseball, and correct me if I'm wrong. Ability to run, so speed, hit for average, hit for power, be able to field the ball, so like catch it, and to be able to throw the ball, right? In basketball, it's 4 things to me, right? Rebounding, scoring, playmaking, and the ability to defend, right? So I would look for that in a kid, because like the way basketball's going, it's like really positionless. So like we run a positionless offense. So like there'll be times where I'm running the 5, there'll be times where I'm running the 1, right? So we run a completely positionless offense. So I would look for that in a kid. Like, is he restricted? Can he only work from inside the paint? Or can he stretch the floor? Can he come up and make a play for for his teammates, right? Can he make a play for someone other than himself and his teammates? And can he make a play for his teammates that's not drawn up? Like, can he just naturally do it, right? So those are things I look for in kids, like whether it's in tryouts and like when I'm like recruiting or like when I'm looking at my teammates, like, yeah, like he's nice. Like I would want to play with him because he just can do everything on the floor. And as a guy that I think I can do everything on the floor, like I respect that, and I've always wanted to see it in other players. A third thing really would just be like natural instincts. Like, does he have natural instincts, right? So like on a fast break, if I'm recruiting a 16-year-old, right? And 16 is when people like starting able to dunk. So like if I'm recruiting a 16-year-old and they're up by 2, is he gonna dunk the ball? And if they're up by 2 with like maybe 6 seconds left, is he gonna dunk the ball to set the crowd on fire, or is he gonna run it out, have them foul him, go to the line, knock down 2 free throws? Now they're up 4, and this game is a win, right? So like just like basketball instincts, like do you know what to do, right? So those are 3 things I look for, like.
When I was thinking of this question, one of the things I was thinking about was toughness. I was just watching. The reason I even came up with this question in the first place is because I was watching Miles Epworth, second shutout of the season 2 of Shipped Across the Border. I was watching his game, and there was guys on his team who just weren't college basketball ready, and you could just tell because they were like shooting over 2 defenders, and the guy out in the fast break, they're making shitty passes, and like they're 2 star players, the guys who could do no wrong on this team. According to the way that Miles talks to me about it, and the way that it looks like on the court, it's like these guys just don't look like college basketball players to me. Right. If I was watching the game, I would much rather have what Miles is doing, which is he's the only one out there rebounding, only one out there boxing out, only one out there talking about defense.
Like me?
Kind of. Way less athletic, though, I would say.
He's like 16.
I just want to say that because he gets mad when I say that. But stepping away from basketball, want to...
I'm sorry. Another thing, like you spoke about toughness, yeah, because like that's something I would want. I would want to, and this sounds so cocky. I would want a player like me, like Desiree is just really tough. Like, I mean, that's really cocky, but like, Yeah, like I'd want a player like me.
No, I respect.
Has the ability to do everything, is just like really tough. Like gets knocked down, okay, get up. We have a trainer for a reason. You'll be there at halftime. Like let's not cry about it. Like Mike. Like Mike is one of the toughest guards I've played with. Demo, one of the I didn't play with Demo, but Demo's one of the toughest guards I've seen. Both of those guys will score and score a layup,
watch the ball
and
drop.
turn around and guard. Not running back to half court. As soon Mike will hit you with a 3 combo move, 6 dribbles in total. Will score the ball, and as soon as he scores it, he turns around and guards 94 feet.
Like he's already ready to guard before the ball hits the fucking
before
ground.
the ball hits the ground, he's ready to guard 94 feet, and he will turn you 3 times and get a steal.
One of those guys who,
I
like,
bet
if he
money
breaks
on
his
it.
finger on the court, he's gonna wait until the end of the next whistle. That's when he's gonna sub himself off.
If it's a heated game, he'll probably say I have 9 more. Like, I mean, that just is what it is.
That's crazy as fuck.
Like, I mean,
But yeah, stepping away from
Yeah.
basketball, we've never really talked about personal shit with you on the podcast. I don't think
no.
so. Social work.
Social work, yeah.
Why do you want to go into social work?
So that's a very different avenue than playing basketball. It's kind of like
Yeah, it's way different.
So what exactly is it that you want to do? Because it's a very broad.
So what I want to do with social work is basically just like, I mean, this is what everybody says, and it's gonna sound like I'm like I need to get a Nobel Peace Prize, but like I want to help kids out that don't have the resources for the help that they need, right? So in a lot of like, let me think before I say this. In a lot of like lower income areas, right? So like my mom works with a lot of lower income people. She did taxes for a minute. Now she does soft skills work. So like I've seen people from low income areas in my house, right? And like seeing these people, they have a lot of issues that they didn't realize they had until it was too late, let's say, right? So I want to be able to maybe not stop those issues because everything can't be solved, everything can't be stopped, but help you identify that you have anxiety when you're 14 instead of when you're 45. Because when you first had your first encounter with anxiety and nobody around you paid attention to it, you've had, let's say, 30 years of mess ups or things that you didn't do because you were anxious, or things that you did do that may have been gone terribly wrong because you were anxious, right? And you just didn't know it because no one's ever told you. So that's what I want to help with. I want to help kids like really reach their potential. And if something's wrong with you, I can tell you what's wrong with you.
So what exactly does that entail? Like a therapist or
kind of, sort of. So like I would go around and like be like a school social worker.
you want to be out of school.
Yeah. I want to be out of school or overseas. So like if I play basketball, I want to do it overseas. Like whether I'm in like Costa Rica or Colombia or whatever, like I'd want to do it over there. And yeah, I mean like just help kids out that need the help, right? So that's really it. I mean, and another thing, like 2 of my favorite athletes like of all time, the first 2 athletes I've ever seen, Roberto Clemente and Muhammad Ali, that's what they were. They were like as famous. Muhammad Ali is more written about than Jesus Christ.
That's true.
It's a fact. like I swear to God, you can look it up. Muhammad Ali is more written about than Jesus Christ, and talked a 19-year-old kid, like off a building because he was about to commit suicide.
So that's like
Muhammad Ali is as famous as he can be, most famous person in the world at this time. They call him out of all people to talk this 19-year-old off of jumping off a building. Roberto Clemente died in a plane crash because there was an earthquake in Nicaragua, and he's on a plane, like on like a little rock and roll jet plane where it's like maybe 4 people can fit on it, goes through terrible weather to send help, like helping supplies, and plane crashes in the water. Like these are guys that are like the most famous people at the time. Roberto Clemente at the time is the best right fielder in baseball. Muhammad Ali is the best boxer of all time at the time, was the best boxer at the time, right? And they're regular people helping people out that need help. So me, I'm not them at all. So it's definitely my job to help people out, right? That's what I think my job should be. So yeah, I mean, that's just why I got into social work, because I want to help people out. And I feel like that's the reason God put me on this earth. Like the qualities I have are to help people out.
And then what are you doing on, like I don't know exactly what it is, but I know you have taken on some responsibility in the social work department in order to help you advance kind of like, I don't want to say your career, but like put a resume builder, like, and make an impact on the institution.
Yeah.
In like off the court kind of thing.
So I work I work in the peer wellness. I'm a peer wellness educator and a peer diversity educator. So right now I'm doing peer diversity, so I'll just talk about that. Peer diversity is basically like, college is a very vulnerable time in your life. So for you, I'll just like in your example or in your life, like I would assume from what you told me, you came from a very small town, right?
Yes.
You know everybody in that town.
Yes.
When you came to college, you were probably like a deer in headlights, right?
A little bit.
Saw a bunch of different cultures, a bunch of different people you've never even seen before, right?
Somewhat. I had already kind of experienced that because I played AAU, so I was going to Toronto a fuck ton. But if it was like if that hadn't happened to me, it would have been crazy.
So imagine the kids that haven't left Springfield or haven't left Chicopee, right? They're meeting people from Texas, they're meeting people from Canada, they're meeting people from Florida, wherever, right? And my job as a peer diversity educator is just I'm basically teaching them how to act around these people, right? So it's okay that this person is from this country or from this state. Y'all have something in common, something, right? Like we are both humans. So, or y'all are both men, or y'all are both women, or whatever. Y'all both play basketball, y'all both play soccer, whatever y'all do, right? Y'all have something in common. So just because we're from two different places, two different worlds, doesn't mean we can't find some type of common ground and thrive off that common ground, right? I mean, sometimes like me playing basketball in warm-ups, I have a teammate I really don't know, but a song comes on and now we're bonding over that song, and come to find out we almost had the same type of childhood and now we're best friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's something as little as that can take something so far, and that's basically just what I'm telling like my peers, my fellow students, like, yo, this is what this is. Like, it's easy to, meet people from other cultures, and you guys can be close.
How'd you get involved in that?
They emailed me.
Just because you're in the social work department?
Yeah, so they emailed me and they were like, hey, if you want to join, you can join. So filled out an application, had a quick little interview, got the job.
And you get paid for that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I got two more things. One of them is like the last question we asked everybody, but a quote from another podcast that I just want to have you speak on is: a mediocre plan that's stuck to always outperforms an amazing and perfect plan that you never stick to begin with. And like basketball is one of those things where like consistency beats everybody. At least I've noticed that, where it's like
100%.
one of the only, if you do everything else wrong and you just stick with it long enough, eventually you will win. And that's just, I wonder if you've had like a story or something about that in your life.
Yeah, I mean, in my life for sure. So, I mean, in basketball, I've kind of stuck to like the same routine and just have like tuned it up a little bit, from going to shooting, like sticking, like I won't talk about basketball for long with this question, but sticking to like shooting 10 elbow jumpers to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, I'm just doing it more, right? Or like instead of going like crossover, we're going to go between crossover, just doing progressions in basketball. So I stick to the same thing in basketball, and I've had the same ideas, and it's gotten me pretty far. But in life, like I've had amazing ideas, right, that I've never capitalized on. So when I was 18, 19, fresh out of high school, and I started seeing people like around me get into like depression and anxiety, I wanted to make a documentary about how depression and anxiety in our generation is overlooked because we're so-called the soft generation, right? We're soft. We haven't went through anything. We haven't really went through any big wars. Like, our grandparents went through world wars and Vietnam, like our parents went through like people were getting sent to Iraq. Like, you know what I'm saying? They went through 9/11. Like they went through a lot of crazy things that everybody had to go through and get stronger as. We haven't really went through that, right? But we still go through a lot of stuff on the day-to-day that they didn't have to go through, right? So I wanted to make a documentary about it. Bought a camera, everything. Didn't do it. Camera's just in my room collecting dust.
No, you use it from time
I mean,
to
I
time.
use it from time to time.
Not to make documentaries.
Not to make documentaries. Like, and I had it all written out in a journal somewhere in my closet back home. And everything's written out. I was going to go around and ask random teenagers and random like people from 16 to 25 about how this generation and how they've struggled with anxiety and depression, how they felt they've been looked over by other generations. Had every question listed out. Where I was going to go, how I was going to do it, the people I wanted on my team. Made a letter, called like, I want to help, like, I need you to help me. Sent it out to people. Got feedback. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, please. wrote a 5-page like speech of what I was gonna say before the camera cuts into it. Still in my Google Docs. Never touched it. And I want to, but I probably won't. You know what I'm saying? But I've had like mediocre things where it's like, okay, like I'm gonna do 100 push-ups tonight, and like just try to change my body. I'm gonna try to drink at least 5 bottles of water today. You know, I'm gonna try to do these little things. I'm gonna try to call people I don't really talk to as much, other family. I'm gonna try to talk to them more. Mediocre things to me, but I've done them, and it's gotten me way further, right? So these amazing plans, you can have the next Scorsese movie in your back pocket, but if you don't do anything about it, like, what's the point of having it? You know what I'm saying? So
I saw this really cool, like, kind of metaphor for that exact same thing on TikTok. It was like, having an amazing plan to do the thing isn't actually doing the thing.
It's Chris Williamson. He's like,
Yeah,
all
it's
this
like-
shit isn't
it's
doing
like-
the only
it's
thing
like-
that matters is the actual work that has to be done.
It's like It's like preparing to do the thing isn't the actual thing. Thinking about the thing isn't actually doing the thing. And
Right,
all these
the to-do
different
list, doing
things,
the thing isn't doing anything.
and all these different things. The only thing that's doing the thing is doing the thing.
exactly.
And the thing doesn't have to be big. Little bits of progress daily is better than
Nothing at
nothing
all.
at all. You know what I mean? It's just
Like-
like taking steps in the right direction. Slow motion is better than no motion.
Like, imagine like how people say it, like my coaches used to say it to me. If you get 1% better for 100 days every day, you just got 100% better. If you get 0% better every day, you just stayed
worse.
You just stayed average or got worse.
'Cause
You know
now
what I'm saying?
you got worse because you ran into more time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
saying.
you-
Now
Lose
everyone,
muscle
everyone that did
memory.
get 100% better. Now you're even farther behind.
So like, and the one thing my advisor actually told me this other day, the one thing that's terrible is the phrase killing time. Yeah, I got a dentist appointment. I'm just about to go kill some time. So like, killing time to me is I'm about to go sit in my room and watch ESPN for 30 minutes when I could be doing anything else. Like I could be walking around Springfield. Like as far as this documentary goes, I could be walking around Springfield interviewing people. Hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And okay, cool. Just took off 30 minutes. Now let me go do what I got to do. But instead, I'm just in my room, not doing nothing, watching the same replay at, 3:30 p.m. that I watched at 8 a.m. when I woke up. And the commentary hasn't even changed.
Yeah.
Everything's the exact same. So yeah, like, I mean, like that's something that's always stuck with me is keep working no matter what. If it's, not everything's going to be a home run. Not everything's going to be a home run. Work slowly first and then it'll build up, right? So like,
Compound interest.
yeah, bro. Like it's simple. Super simple.
That's all I got, bro.
I think we could just wrap it up by just saying like, what's one thing that you would kind of tell a young hooper, younger self?
We've done this before. I kind of want to get a new question out of this because we already asked them this before.
What's your last question? You said
That's this.
Yeah, that was my other one. That's the last one. But like, we've already used that before. What if we do? Did we give him one regret before?
We give him one regret.
What's one regret you have from your basketball career or life career?
That's true.
life career is crazy. One regret. I don't know if I really have any, honestly. Like,
You don't live with regrets.
I mean, I do. Like, I regret not. Well, yeah, okay. I regret not getting good grades in high school,
Okay, that's very, 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 very common theme on the podcast.
even though I was like smarter than most of the people in my class. I was just.
You think you'd be in a different position if you had a 3.5?
Uh,
Do you think you would have went to that JUCO?
it would have made
Or
me
scholar.
easier to recruit.
Yeah.
It would have like.
Like, and maybe instead of being at 5 schools in 4 years or 3 years, you could have
Yeah,
found a
like
4-year institution and been going.
yeah,
into your senior year
probably.
this year.
So like my thing, and this is gonna be like a whole thing, but like so with in household, my grades were really important, right? My mom didn't care about basketball. Like you can't play basketball if you don't get good grades, right? And as she should, right? So the thing was, I didn't get good grades, so I didn't play AAU. So like I would be pissed. And like I would think like, oh, it's my mom's fault. She just doesn't want me to play basketball. It's all my fault. But like I would go, like I wouldn't get good grades, right? So my mom wouldn't let me play AAU. So I'll be at LA Fitness all summer, just playing. Come back to the school, for basketball tryouts. People be like, dang, like Ian got really good. Like, how is he doing all this? Like where was he at? Whoop-de-whoop. And they think I'm doing all this crazy stuff, but I'm just working. But during the summer and the school year, I can't show off my work just because I'm getting bad grades, right? So if I obtain like a 3.0 GPA and really like just hone in on, okay, instead of just playing 2K until 4:00 in the morning, I'm gonna study for my chemistry 12 till like my chemistry test till like 11, right? If I practice good school habits, I'd be in a totally different position. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, but I think I would be. Like, it would make me way more easier to recruit because not only is he good at basketball, he's good in the classroom. You know, it would be way different. So, I mean, yeah, that's probably my biggest regret, not trying hard in class and really BSing in the gym sometimes when I was younger. Like, not working on my left hand until I was like 14 because I was so quick I could just get to my right. So not working on my left. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of just little stuff where it's like, I fixed it when I got older, but what if I fixed it when I first noticed it? So yeah, that's it. That's probably my biggest regret, just not fixing stuff.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Shout out to Cam Wanna-Do. Shout out to, no, you can cut this out. Shout out to Cam Wanna-Do. Shout out to Mike Gerling. Shout out to Jared Shapiro. Shout out to Alyssa Gerling. Shout out to Jill Shapiro. Happy birthday.